Okay, so here is the new Sketchbook 15. I'm super excited about this one. I was really trying to ride off the high of my last sketchbook tour where I like discovered that art could be fun and like didn't have to look good, and I kind of tried to ride that high here, but I don't know, it just wasn't quite the same. And I also just think that there's like some times where I would just like be forcing myself to draw and I don't like those pages, but let's get started with it. So first of all the stickers, I like to list people on screen. On the back, another sticker, it's color. This is for each month, so this is March, April, and May. Did that for fun. I don't know if I'm going to continue that with future sketchbooks. I got tedious to do in this sketchbook. Without further ado, let's freaking get into it. Okay, so the first page, first of all, I don't know what sketchbook this is. It was on Amazon, and I got it as a gift. If you see this sticker, that was like on the cover, so, and it said 8.5 by 11, all these things, so I don't love this. I also just was like, beforehand doing it, I was like stressing myself out because I was like, I have to do the first page, I have to do self-portrait, I feel like it should look good, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, just do a portrait with like super loose, ugly, and like intentionally just let it be bad. And I let it be bad, and it is what it is. I don't love it, but it's fine, and like I appreciate it more than like the times I try to do something good and then psych myself out. So next page, so here we have Finn, lots of Finn, and then a couple errands. If you watch my last sketchbook tour, at the end of it I was like playing around with him being emo. I came back to it again, but I was like drawing the like hair I gave him. I really don't think it suits him, but... And then here are my goals and my follower tracking, which we'll touch on at the end. So I was exploring Aaron's character a lot in this sketchbook, so I explored his like sibling, sister, father figure-esque relationship he has with Dawn, and I just like found pictures of like dads with their kids, more references, but this is where she's a bit older, like a teenager here. I don't really like this one, but I like the way her face angle looks here. I think that's like a hard angle to capture. If you see like any orange dust on my fingers, just know that that's from playing with orange Play-Doh that I got at the dentist for being a good kid. And then there's Finn and Aaron, more playing around with it. I was playing around with like Dawn's age because in my head, I've always pictured her as like 12, 13, like preteen-ish age, but I was just playing around with her being different ages here, and there's no way she's gonna be a baby, but I kind of just wanted to draw it because I like that baby's expression. Then all of those other ones were also from references, but this was me kind of trying it on my own. I like these two. This one's really cute. I really like Dawn. Her like little face is really precious to me. And then you'll see this happen a lot in this sketchbook where I took critique notes, so yeah, you'll see those like spread throughout. Okay, two things. I was ordering a commission from this artist. I'll put their username bigger on screen, but I was ordering a commission from them because I saw this like animation they did, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute, and I adore it so much. I need to commission them. I need to. So I was like, I got Ko and Reese done, and then I gave them like, this is like a reference for outfits, and then this is their like a closer like face reference. I really like this sketch of both of them. And then I think I had like one of those watercolor pens where like there's water in the actual brush, and I just had a bunch of pink left on it, so I just was swiping it around to fill in the space. And then here I was like thinking about their art, drawing their style from my head, and I was like, I cannot do this. And I did it from direct reference. So all these are from direct references from their like little animations and other things. And then here's more from reference. Here's me kind of trying to figure it out on my own, and then here a couple more references, and then more doing it on my own. I think the ones I did on my own are really cute, especially like this one of Ko, this one of Ko, and then some of their characters. It was like kind of hard to do, but it was super fun. And then here I kind of tried to do like some exploring, and that was like super fun. But I don't know, I don't love anything. I kind of wish that with my studies I did more like full body references of theirs to kind of like get, but like they didn't have a lot of full body references that weren't like very like stylized and like sketchy. So it was either way super fun. I love doing art style studies. And then more critique notes, and then this was more just on my own, and I was like, I just want to draw me and my friends in this style. So these are both me, and then the rest of these are my friends, but this is Co, and I think that's cute. Here was right around the time I was editing the sketchbook tour, and I made the thumbnails for everything. All these like stickers here were from the sketchbook tour. Like I'll censor things out and I'll use sticky notes because it makes editing easier. Like I don't want to throw this away, so I taped them in here to keep forever. And then also with that, I ended up with a bunch of like extra sticky note paper, so I taped that here as well, and I sketched myself on top. And I was at a church, and I was just drawing a couple in front of me because I was bored, and I didn't have anything else to do. And I really like how this turned out. Like this is like the Bible and like my foot angled. Like I like it. I really like it. Here I was doing another art style study of June Gustin, Ginger Ninja OWO, but I was doing a lot of art style studies of his work, and I got the book and I was in love with it, so I was doing some references from that specifically. I kind of want to do more style studies of their work, but this was fun. I got a little bit out of this, and then I did some Chaperone, the Giver looks, just because we all loved that, and I really like this one. For one, I like drawing suits, and two, this face angle, super fun to draw, and like slightly open mouths are kind of easy for me to draw too. And then this was her SNL outfit. I also wanted to show some love to that outfit because I adored it. And then these were thumbnails for a painting, but my idea completely changed for these, but we'll get back to that. And then my art teacher, she was giving us like a demonstration on what we were going to be doing, but we had a model in for this demo, and I was like, well, the model's already here and she's already posing for the teacher, I might as well draw her. So this is the model from the days we weren't actually supposed to be drawing her, and then this is the back of my teacher's head. So, and then here are my OCs, Farron and Izzy. I love this sketch of them. I really like drawing siblings together. There's something like fun because it like makes me go like, okay, what features do they have in common? Like I'm always looking for like similar features across characters and like also differences, and then like tying it. I don't know, it's fun. And then here I was watching like my friends' art performances, and I was stressing myself out because I drank a 32-ounce thing of Diet Coke right before and immediately it was shaking, and I needed to draw while they were going. So I did this sketch, and it's super warped because of the angle I was sitting at, so like just imagine it squished, and that's how it was meant to look. And then super anxious and shaking because my friends were doing their art performances. And then Brittany Broski singing Mask Off. I kept singing that to my friends, and I just kind of had to draw it just for fun. I do like this drawing of Brittany Broski. Here is my OC Cassidy. Love her. I was playing around with like what she would look like before the evil man comes into her life. This is her after evil man, this is her before. So yeah, I was just playing around with that and like what she would look like as a kid, and I decided to make her like really masculine to like kind of contrast her like more conservative feminine look that she has when bad things happen. And then this is her love that she cannot be with until hopefully one day. We had this assignment where we were supposed to do research on something we were unfamiliar with, and I saw this red-winged blackbird and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to research more about them. And then I also saw the great blue heron, and I was like, okay, well now I have a new obsession. So I did kind of research on both of them individually and then like their interactions. Great blue herons like to eat red-winged blackbird's babies, so they do not fuck with each other. But I really like this spread. This was all done with like highlighters and just like pens and Pinterest photos. I like this one a lot of the red-winged blackbird, and I like this great blue heron. I love those birds. Then this was a really slow day at work, and I was watching YouTube, and I was like, okay, well, I think I finished doing these, and I was like, okay, well, now what do I have to do? And I was like, well, I'll just draw the YouTubers I'm watching. So I was watching these. I think this I watched at work, and then these I watched when I got home, but this was World Mall of America is kind of insane, and I actually really like this YouTuber. Now I'm subscribed to them, and this person, I love this video. It's called The Epidemic of Escapism. Go watch it. It is so interesting, and I love it. And Sabrina Carpenter Tiny Desk Concert, I don't know if I would recommend it. It's just, I mean, if you like Sabrina Carpenter and you like Tiny Desk, there you go. It's pretty good. But they were all super fun to draw. I really like the way World came out and Sabrina Carpenter. And then some more Cassidy, a little comic about this character. This is an old character that the last drawing I have of them is probably from like 2021. And then this is like maybe her new design. I don't know what I want to do with them, but I like them. There is more of the great blue heron and red-winged blackbirds. Here I was drawing them interacting because I was doing a painting of them. I wanted to kind of nail down their interactions a bit. And then here I drew them as humans because I like got the idea in my head of like how specific the great blue heron would look. And then I did the red-winged blackbird just out of like necessity. But I really like the great blue heron. The character designs they had back in 2020, Aaron was in very ugly outfits. I did not know what to do for men clothing back then, and I still kind of don't. There was a TikTok I made where you could like type in a name and an emoji would come up, and so I did these of my OCs like with their names. Then down here, just to fill in space, I drew Aaron and Finn because, you know, they're just good old buds. Don't know what happened in the sketchbook, but I did not really draw like Farron and Casper and that whole story. I have two stories. This one where it's like the dragons and shit, and then the other one with like Aaron and Finn and Dawn. It will still be confusing, but I'll like that that will hopefully like divide them in a way. But here's Casper. I really love this sketch of him. I just think like I love drawing him looking like a cocky idiot. Like, he just is a stupid, smug little man, and I really like that about his character. This is his dad, and I like to contrast their designs because they both have like the same uniform. Maybe I'll change the way I do his pants. This was like the first sketches I ever did of him, but I was like, he has his sleeves down, he is wearing a more form-fitting shirt, he has like a tie, he is like has his hair groomed back and doesn't have like baggy shoes, whereas like Casper, who doesn't really take this job as seriously, wears like his clothes super loose and everything. Here's a sketch of him with tighter pants. I think I kind of decided to give him more form-fitting clothing. I love this spread. So here I was on break and I drew my characters in different athletic body types because I was like, it would be super interesting to give these characters like specific athletic body types to like base on that like connect to kind of their powers. And so let's start with Co. I'm gonna explain everybody's powers. If you don't gaff, you can just mute me and skip. But I'm gonna try to include the elements of their powers in the background of these sketches too. So Co can manipulate hairs that are like detached from a body or like an animal. Imagine water bending, I guess would be a good way to describe it, but instead of water, it's hairs. So that's their power. They can kind of like, I imagine that sometimes they use it like Spider-Man's webs and stuff like that. So then here is Aaron. I decided to give him, oh, and I should say, Co body type is based on boxers, and I want to maybe make Aaron also a boxer just because they have like a parallel relationship. I really want to emphasize that. I made him a runner. Just, I don't know, for some reason I was like, I can't think of anything and I'm just gonna do this. I think back then I wanted to make him a boxer too, but I decided against it. But anyways, his power is that he can make like force fields, like screen force fields, and they kind of take this like rectangular shape. But yeah, like, so that's kind of where these shapes are coming from. Then Finn, I love these sketches of Finn. So his body type is based on a swimmer, and so what his ability is that he can like pause time, but during that amount of time it's like physically like restraining in a way, like he's not as physically capable, like breathing is more difficult, moving is more difficult, it is like very difficult on his like physical body. And so I thought like swimming might be interesting because like having your head underwater is like probably the time you make the most movement, but you can't breathe. And that's kind of where I tied those two together. I think it's like, it makes sense in my head. I don't know if it would make sense to the average person, but for like the symbols, I just did like a pausing and playing symbol, just because I was like, how do I symbolize this? And then for Reese, oh my gosh, her power is so weird. So okay, first of all, I made her body type based off of a gymnastics body build. Her powers is that, imagine you could like detach a limb. I guess the best way to describe it would be like a scenario. So like, let's say you like detach your hand and you hold on to like a person running away. She could get that hand to grip onto this person and then like slinky or fling her body towards the person when she thinks she could get a better grip on them, or instead swing the hand towards her from no matter what distance. She just needs to be like, make sure that she's not gonna like damage her hand or anything. But either way, that's kind of her power, just kind of like slinking her limbs around. That's how I describe it. It is kind of confusing, but for that symbol I just kind of did like this like little ribbon stitch thing. I don't know, something about that felt very like, I don't know, it made sense to me. And then here I drew Reese and Co. kind of just being cute. I really like this sketch. It's based on this artist's pose that they use for this drawing, a time bomb. I just really like the pose, so I took it. And then these were both from Pinterest. I just think they're both super cute. I really like this, just the like, yeah, super cute. Super cute. I love this spread. And then I think this is the last thing I did over break. I did some self-portraits. I like doing them whenever I'm bored and don't know what to do. This is kind of my go-to. And so I drew these of myself. I really love this one. Something about the line weight of like this here, like this line, the way it curves. Mwah, really love it. And the way like my skin, I just really like this sketch. And these are also cute, but I like this. These two are my faves of the page. And then here, I think this was like right when I got back to school. I was doing this in my class that I don't really gaff about, but so I was drawing Co in more boxing poses and Reese in some more gymnastic poses, just kind of trying to follow the high of those spreads that I really loved earlier. And then this is when April hits. So if you ever see me drawing in graphite in a sketchbook, it's a bad sign usually I'm like not invested in what I'm doing, and I don't know. I do like the sketch of Farron, but that's kind of all I have to say about this page. This is, yeah, it gets to be a lot of thumbnails when I'm not like having a super good art moment. But here's Finn, Dawn, and Aaron, just kind of sketching them. I changed Aaron's hair because I really like could not figure out how to draw it. But some thumbnails I was doing for a painting I was going to do that I do not like how that turned out, but I can put it on screen if you care. And then here, more just like uninspired kind of sketching, but I was like, I want to be productive, and I was thinking about Aaron's mom and like designing her, and yeah, I kind of just was like not super into it. Nothing super particularly interesting. I like this spread though. I love Dawn. These sketches I did, I looked up like preteen girl fashion just because it's like a weird area between like kid clothing and adult clothing, so I was kind of trying to like find that middle ground of stuff, and so I just drew some of the like poses and like photos I found on Pinterest. I really like these sketches. There's just like a loose quality about them that I really like. And then Dawn when she's older, I just kind of drew her. I always draw her in a slip. I don't know if I usually draw her with shorter hair, but I really like the long hair sometimes. I don't know if I'm going to keep it around though. Then here I drew more thumbnails for a different painting. Nothing really to say about this page. Schools sending me a bunch of like mail. One of the schools gave me this big book of students' artwork, and I was like, oh, this will be so fun to collage with. So here is the halfway spread. Nothing, this is kind of a lackluster halfway page, but I was having a weird moment, and I don't want to just skip past this page and come back to it when I feel like I want to work on it, because I'll probably never get to the point where I want to work on it. So I'm just gonna get it done now and let it be ugly, and that's exactly what it is. I hate this drawing so much. I really like these of Vi from Arcane. I was drawing her emo look, and yeah, I like these a lot, but I hate this drawing so much. And here I was doing more thumbnails for painting. I was working out, again, I'll put it on screen. I like that one a little bit more. I still don't love it. It wasn't my favorite. Here, more thumbnails, would you be surprised? Another assignment, another thing I'll put on screen. I really like these. I really liked this piece. It was very fun. And I also took reference photos, and it was very funny to try and figure out how to get a reference photo of myself laying on my bed from like a bird's eye angle. It was very silly. Here's the commission I ended up getting from Boo. I absolutely adore it. Super cute. Super happy I got that. And then these of Reese are super cute. I really like these. I was just kind of trying to do like things that I knew I liked here, which includes drawing just like headshots of my characters. And I just think these of Reese are just, mwah, I love them. And then more thumbnails. Would you be shocked? You can read this stuff, but I was just kind of ranting about body positivity and how it related to this next piece I was going to make. And then here I got this stuffed animal, and I absolutely adored it. And here I was preparing for an art market I was doing, so all of this stuff. And if you want to get a sticker of a cute little shark that I'll put on the screen, they're in my Ko-fi shop, and they're about $5, and any profit I make from them goes directly to PCRF. So yeah, go get that. This was the final piece for that thumbnails I just did, and then these were just some doodles I did. I was just kind of trying to fill the page because I did this first, and I wanted to like make it blue and on theme. But I really liked these sketches of Aaron and Finn, and I really liked this of Kate. She's another character in their story, but I never draw her. But here's her husband Chandler, who I also never draw. I need to draw both of these characters more, but I really like this of Kate. I also just really like, as someone who's been like, fat for most of my life, drawing fat on people is so satisfying. The way it sits is just so pleasing. And also, I don't want to be called a freak or weird. I'm super proud of how those feet turned out. Those look good. But yeah, and this is the final piece. And I got some pretty good feedback on this from someone. Then this was just doodling. Like, you can really tell when I'm uninspired because the same, like, 3 things keep popping up, and it's these characters. But drawing Dawn with her shorter hair, just to, like, show that off. And then Finn and Aaron. More Finn and Aaron. And then some critique notes. And I think this was, like, during somebody else's critique. And I was just drawing my OCs here, just Ko. And then I had that one animation song stuck in my head, so I just wrote it all over and over again. Art market. And I was going to do live portraits of people, and I was psyching myself out by doing a bunch of Pinterest portraits just to kind of prepare myself, but I got myself so stressed out. But it all went well. I sold a few of those. Then here, more practice, but then I was drawing Ko and Aaron because I love them. I think their dynamic is one that I need to explore more because I love it so much. I wanted to make a set of characters where both find romantic interests that are definitely meant for them outside of each other. They're soulmates in this way where it's like their bond is like greater than a romantic label or a friendship label could like put it under. There's like something truly deep there, and I love that sort of bond. And like people could interpret it as romantic, I don't really gaff, but like I just really wanted to create it because like I feel like with that I always then am like, well, there's a romantic bond, but I want to do it with people who I feel like it is truly more so platonic. I don't know, very interesting to me. I was drawing Trump because I had a certain assignment, which we'll get to that, but lots of planning for that in these next couple of pages. Caricatures that I found these on Google and like just kind of studied them and referenced them for my own sake, and then this is me trying on my own. Caricature is not my strongest skill. And then this was somebody's tutorial on how to draw old people in caricatures, but they were like with the intent of making them cute, but I just was practicing for the sake of it. And then here was more thumbnails like for once I like had the plan in mind, and then this is what I ended up going with, and I'll put the final on screen. And then I was bored in class and was just doing some live figure drawing, which is very hard because people move. You don't realize how much people move until you are trying to draw someone thinking that they'll be sitting still, and then they aren't, because why would they be? This was me kind of trying to be like, okay, these last sketchbook pages have felt like duds, and I want to do stuff that I know I like to do, and that I know will kind of turn out nice to like boost me to do more stuff. And so I was doing some figure drawing, and I was doing it in class, and I really liked this one, but then I started to do this one, and this guy is like half naked and he's laying on his side, and I was like, this is too much for this is too much for 8 a.m. biology. So I decided we'll move past that. And then these are some self-portraits. I really like these, very cute, very cutesy. And then this is Chaperone, and then the end of the school year, this is like the most I've ever been like, oh my god, get me out of this freaking school. I was just like constantly looking outside, like it is warm out there, it is sunny out there, and it is beautiful out there. Why am I not out there? And why am I in here learning about whatever the freak I'm learning about? Get me out. I had a very bad like last couple weeks just for that reason, and then other bad things happened. And then more doing stuff that, like, this was all, like, kind of to do stuff that I knew I would like drawing Chaperone, very comfort zone, drawing figures, drawing portraits from Pinterest, very comfort zone, and then some critique notes. Here I did, like, some simple, portrait drawings. I think I actually will make these, like, I want to make one of these my profile picture, and I think it might either be this one or this one, because I just really like the line weight of the mouth and like the chin and like chin lines, I guess, and then I just think that this one's funny, so I'm debating between these two as my next profile picture. And then here I do Farron. A new problem has arisen because I realized my OC Farron is just a name combination between Finn and Aaron. And so now I have a new problem where I call all my characters Farron, or Finn, or Aaron, so. But anyways, Finn, I love him. I love him here. I really like these portraits. He's so cute. I love him. More self-portraits because I didn't know what to draw. Okay, Joe. I like this one. I really like these three down here. This like simple style is just so cute. And then I was really angry, as you can see by these doodles. Then I was really sad. And then I was counting down the days, which also really funny looking back at this, because I remember I wrote this, and then I went back and I was like, that number, where did I get that number from? I have like a week left or something. Like, it was just completely wrong. And I look back and I'm like, now how'd you get that number? Where did you get that number from? But yeah, and so I was just counting down the days, but yeah, all silly. More doodles. Here is Ethel and Henry and Izzy. I was drawing them. They're from the dragon world. And then more of Izzy there, and then more self-portraits because I didn't know what to freaking draw. So this is a little self-portrait. These are self-portraits, and then I needed space. I had like space here, and I was like, okay, well, I'll fill the space by just drawing my hands. So that's exactly what I did. And then here I was studying for an AP exam the day before. Don't do what I did, study in advance. I think I did not pass. And then here, I brought acrylic markers to school, so I was playing around with those, and I did a little self-portraits of my friends, and then shark. I love sharks. Here, this was when You, the show, finished, and I was like, okay, now I need to rewatch season 2. Because I went back and rewatched season 1 a while ago, because I think objectively that is the best season, but like my favorite season is season 2 probably, just because I love, and season 3 is, season 4 is bad, in my opinion. Season 5, I actually liked it. I don't gaff, but anyways, I was rewatching season 2, and I was like, okay, now I need to draw Love Quinn, and I just finished my rewatch of season 3 and started season 4, and I don't know why I'm watching season 4 again, because it's not that good, but I'll decide if I think it's better on rewatch. There's actually a lot of things that on rewatch I've been like, that is so interesting, knowing how it plays out, and like how this stuff is like fake and whatever. Super interesting. Anyways, Love Quinn. I really like these. This one and this one are my favorites probably. This one looks janky. I was gonna draw a bit of Joe, but his face is like weirdly hard to draw. There's some people where they're too attractive to a point where their face has like no identifiable features, and I feel like Penn's face is a little bit like that, but Victoria is just so beautiful, and I feel like she's got like just enough that makes her interesting to make her identifiable, and her hair is like just so, I love Victoria. One chance, Victoria's then here was some critique notes. I drew like this face first, and then I had to do critique notes. So I did all this, and then it like slowly kind of came around the face, and I was like, well, I'll just make it hair, and I'll make it a mermaid, so it's like flowy hair. But then I just did some more doodles with that like concept of pink hair with like a black pen. It was kind of cute. Not something that's like super interesting, but you know. And then here again, I just like wanted to draw, but I didn't know what to do, so I did this. It's just me with a rainbow pencil, which the rainbow pencil is fun, but I would prefer to like have more of an interesting purpose for it. And then these are sketches that are like super old. Like I think this was from Halloween, because I dressed up as Patrick Bateman because I had a poncho. I was like, perfect. And then here, I was on call with a friend, and I was drawing Cassidy a little bit more. More love to Cassidy in the next sketchbook, honestly. I love her. And then here's Ethel and Henry, my little love bugs. And then I drew this of Farron, and I had a freak out because I was like, hey, why do they look like Keith from Voltron? I was like, god damn it, I don't want them to look like Keith from Voltron. So I'll have to come back to it. It's just the hair. It's truly the hair. The colors of them are not the same, but I'm scared. And then these were some critique notes I had, and this was something I wrote when I was feeling really emo. And but I really like writing, and I want to do it more, but like I don't want to post it. I just feel like putting it in my sketchbook like this, and then the people, like the couple hundred people that watch my sketchbook tours can appreciate it, but otherwise I don't need to, like, I don't really care to post about it. Here is more of like, hey, I want to be done with this sketchbook. Let's do stuff we like, and let's do it like fun and stuff we know would look good. Which, like, this page is really light, but I really like it. Just some pose references from Pinterest, nothing out of the usual, but I liked making their like body suits or like bikinis or whatever they were wearing, and in like a yellow, and that was super fun. I really like these three, specifically these two. She did not turn out proportionally accurate, but it's kind of hard when they're the last drawing on the page. And then here, I love this page. So here is just a dedicated Finn and Aaron. I love them so much, bro. So here's Aaron, here's Finn. I was thinking about Aaron a lot during the sketchbook because it was one of my goals to develop him, because he is a main character, and he does not have like the amount of lore that a main character needs, or character that a main character needs. But anyways, I was like, well, him and Finn, I've always had them as a couple in my head, but I have a hard time believing that Aaron would love Finn. And then I was like, okay, well, like, let me give like some things to his character and his admiration to Finn. And I was like thinking, like, bro is just like yearning. He is a yearner. He just longs and stares and doesn't want to confront it. And so I did this scenario of like, they're both sleepy or like a living room together, and they're both across each other on couches, and Aaron cannot fall asleep, and he is staring at Finn. I also just really like how this Finn turned out. I like this pose. Aaron is a little, like, the arm is, something is off about the arm. It's one of those times where you're drawing a reference and you're like, my drawing looks like the reference, but there's something about my drawing that must be off because it doesn't like look correct in the way that the photo looks correct. But I really like this Finn. And then, now what if I told you I saw a Clance ad? What if I told you I saw a Clance animatic, and that was to that song that's like, I'll break your bones with all the love I carry, I'll keep you close, and one day we'll get married. And I went, now I'm gonna need to draw my characters together, because so that was something I did. And then I drew this, and it was me talking about, there's this channel called Bin's Toy Bin, which was like, I got so obsessed with it as a kid because I was so obsessed with My Little Pony. And I think they still exist and they still do stuff, but their color palette is like the same as like their logo. I was like, oh my god, everything is connected. Finally we come back to Aaron's emo haircut, and I was just like kind of trying, like, I was just drawing his hair. Usually like this is how it looks in the normal part of the story. And I was like, okay, well, what if I like emo Aaron? And I was like giving him a buzz cut, found some like emo haircuts on Pinterest, and then I was like, you know what, a buzz cut suits his character best based on like a lore. You can read this if you want, that kind of explains it a little bit, but yeah, I just think like he lets it grow out to maybe about this length and then just shaves it again. But then at one point in the story, when he gets a little bit of character growth, he has like a nice regular haircut, and this is kind of what it looks like. I love this spread. So I was wearing this outfit, and I was like, I feel very gender. I really like it. I had just thrifted all these clothes, so I felt really cute. And I was like, okay, well, now I need to draw it. And I just took a bunch of photos of myself just as reference, and then I went over to my library and did this while I was there. I really like all of these drawings for the most part. Like, these two I think are really cute. I also really like this one. This one's really cute. Yeah, I'm just super happy with it. I really like the colors of the spread. It's just very fun, and I like this way of sketching and drawing in my sketchbook. This was truly like, I need to fill this sketchbook. Self-portraits is like, when I don't know what to draw, I do a self-portrait. Then I was watching Love Lies Bleeding for the first time while doing this page, and I think Jackie is spelt with a Y in the movie. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I really liked how she turned out here, but then Lou just like, her head was way too big or something, and like just like something about how I drew it, the proportions were wrong. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like only let the parts I like about it be super visible, and I just made it more about Jackie. And then there was a sign in the movies that said destiny is a decision, and so I took that. And then this is like the last like spread, and so I usually go over my goals and my follower updates. So my goals, I didn't do this will be in like every sketchbook for the rest of the year. I just need to do it at some point. And then character interactions, I did do a good amount of those, I think. Film Sketchbook Tour, I did that right away. Very glad I did that. Art studies, pretty pleased with that. Didn't do it all the way. I kind of wanted to do like more style studies specifically, and I didn't do much of that. And then exploring Aaron's character, I did quite a bit of that, so I give myself full credit. And then here's my follower tracking. I almost always lose followers on TikTok. It's just like a slowly going down sort of thing, but it's fine. And then YouTube, I got some more. Instagram, I got some more. I lost one follower on Pinterest, and I was like, now who's unfollowing people on Pinterest? And then I drew my dog. This was from memory, and these were from specific photos. He's just like, this is a photo of him before he ever got his first haircut, so he's extra scraggly. And then the last page, I was like, okay, literally, get me out of here. Like, I just want to be done with this freaking sketchbook, and I just was like, let me grab one of my markers and then just do something really simple and quick and be done. Here, I guess it might just be called Union Square & Co. If that helps you find sketchbook, or if you want this sketchbook. There you go. I don't know if I would recommend it that much. I mean, it was fine. I like enjoyed it, and it's fine for what I do because I just do like mostly just exclusively like sketching and like markers and stuff, so it's fine for that. But if you were like somebody who wants to use a lot of specific mediums, I didn't feel like that paper would hold up very well, and it also has like perforated edges, and I kind of hate that. I kind of hate that because I'm scared that the pages are gonna fall out. But that is the freaking end of the sketchbook. I am so pleased with it when I look at it as a whole. I was like very insecure around the middle of it, but I think it had a really good like ending to it. Wait, what's this? Is this the next sketchbook? What the fuck? Okay, this is my next sketchbook. I'm not gonna explain all the lore of it, but here's the first page. You might notice that this is something, but you can figure out what that means. I haven't worked in a sketchbook this small in a long time, so that will be interesting, but this is my next one. We'll see how it goes. You'll be seeing this one very soon. So, yeah, I need to get some work done in this, but if you want to follow me anywhere, keep up with like my art on more of a weekly basis. I post on Instagram and TikTok every week. If you want to see where I pull my art references from, or just want to like see some good art references for your own stuff, my Pinterest is in the description below as well. I also have YouTube, which you're watching right now. I mostly just do sketchbook tours. Every now and then I might do something else, but mostly sketchbook tours. I'll see you in a short amount of time. Okay, see ya.